and welcome to The German Guy Reviews. American Idol. The basic premise of the show American Idol is a good one. Let average people sing to kickstart a career. But giving people the opportunity to get in front of a camera attracts all kinds of freaks. Case in point, the internet. The difference with the web is, however, that it is also mean-spirited and condescending. It's different than riffing on movies or TV shows because these are all things that quote-unquote don't matter. But these are people who are shown in the worst possible way so that others can point their fingers at them, laugh and feel superior. That's not having light-hearted fun, that is a repulsive public execution morally equal to gladiator battles. When I rant about something in movies and what I would like to do with certain parts of genitalia, I am ranting against fictitious characters and situations. And I myself play a character. If I insult people, you can bet I don't mean it seriously. Unless they deserve it, of course. But these shows are really this mean and horrible.
You taking singing lessons?
Yes, I do.
Who's your teacher?
There was this lady up in Montana.
Do you have a lawyer?
No, I don't have a lawyer.
Get a lawyer and sue her.
It's funny because he's an asshole. Hurting people is fun. Or to put it even more simple, we here on the internet love with one another, not at one another, because we are all spastic idiots. What has all of this to do with today's movie? Well, we Germans like to copy American shows, and sometimes our versions are even worse than the original ones. Which brings me to Deutschland sucht den Superstar. Germany searches for a superstar. Yes, I know, the name is total garbage. They could have just as easily called it German Superstar or something, but I guess over here we have to be very precise with our titles. Just like one of our cooking shows, which is called 500 gram butter, 2 kilos of meat, 6 onions, the horn of a unicorn. Anyway, to get to the point, in the year 2003, a young man named Daniel Kübelberg made third place in the show and created a hit single. The thing is though, nobody who wins in this contest stays famous for long. Actually, they don't stay famous at all. As soon as the winners are announced, they are forgotten a few hours later, and preparations for the next year are made. So, well, what are we going to do next year, Brain? The same thing we do every year, Pinky. Make a shitty television show. But seriously, why do people still participate in this fake bullshit and put this much work into it for not even 50 minutes of fame? Anyway, later Mr. Kübelberg ended up in the, let's call it show, I Am a Star, Get Me Out of Here. God, what is it with us and such long titles? In the show, washed up forgotten celebrities get put in the jungle where they are forced to eat cockroaches and sell all their dignity just to be on TV again. After winning third place, again, he made a biography and then nobody remembered him. Until one day he showed up in one of those What Happened to Them programs. He now owns a hotel in Austria somewhere, so he seems to be fine. But we are not here to talk about his legacy as a musician, but as a filmmaker. Here comes Daniel der Zauberer, Daniel the Wizard. We begin the movie with a concert by Daniel Kübelberg, which is Indian themed for some reason. During the show, Daniel performs an incredible magic trick with a ring.
How does he do that? Oh.
I can't hear you. If I want a concert that I can barely understand, I just need to look on YouTube. And even then the footage of someone in the last row is better than this. How is this even possible? You are filming right next to him. We then move over to every German television audience since 2000 who complain what a shitty musician Daniel is. Well, you know, scientists have created a new tool called a remote. With this miraculous device, you can make things you don't like on the idiot box go away. The three decide Daniel is such a bad artist that he needs to die. The original internet critics, everybody. I could never understand why crazy people would target celebrities. Besides being crazy. I mean, if you blow some shit up, you can at least pretend that your lust for blood is motivated by some noble idea. Anyway, the next morning our three villains go up a hill and watch over Daniel's house, where he and his family are having breakfast. He reads some fan mail from a grandma who tells him that thanks to his music, she decided not to commit suicide. Slow down, Daniel. You are a okay musician. You are not Kurt Cobain's lost child. We can, however, speculate if you are related to one of those people. I googled most androgynous stars. Daniel is worried and says he doesn't know if he can take that much responsibility. What will happen if his music career will end someday? Well, first Lex Luthor is going to take over the world, then fire will rain down from the sky. Nothing is going to happen! He opens another letter that turns out to be a death threat. His family, however, tells him not to worry. The only appropriate way to deal with such a thing.
Auf der anderen Seite hat er Millionen Fans, die für ihn durchs Feuer gehen. So eine Karriere, wie der Daniel gemacht hat, das gibt's ja überhaupt ganz selten, wenn überhaupt. Die sollten überhaupt erst einmal sehen und dich überhaupt erst einmal kennenlernen. Wenn die sehen würden, was der für eine Show macht, wie der seine Show macht, wie der auf der Bühne steht, 2 Stunden, dann würden sie ihre Meinung schon ändern.
There's self-confidence, and then there's delusion.
But my mom says I'm cool.
Next.
Seeing how Daniel is scared, his parents suggest it would be a good idea to get some bodyguards. But then they change the subject and the whole "we are going to murder you" business is forgotten. Then we get a music video with tigers. I don't get it. Our villains saw this and write an angry letter.
Denk nur nicht, dass wir auf deine vorgetäuschte Liebe zu den armen Tigern reinfallen.
Fuck, this is ridiculous. And then, ghosts. No, seriously. An old man awkwardly approaches the leader of our villains named Balthazar and tells him that he will protect Daniel. He tells him his name is Johnny, but Balthazar says this is impossible since Johnny died many years ago. Johnny then says he always protected Daniel from harm, and we see a flashback with little Daniel and Oswald Cobblepot. The penguin tells Daniel that he needs to have dreams, and then later that night goes into the woods to find I give up. My brain has officially melted. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who I am, I don't know where I live, I don't know what time it is. I'm not even sure which dimension we are in. We return from the asylum, and Balthazar tells Johnny that he can't win, because there are millions of people who hate Daniel like cancer.
Because there is not a single thing happening in this world right now that's more important than the personal lives of celebrities.
Are we in the Death Clock universe here? Do musicians suddenly influence the lives of people more than the fucking president?
Kennst du die kleine Petra?
Petra? Welche Petra?
Na, siehst du. Du hast keine Ahnung. Die Liebe ist unbesiegbar.
What are you talking about? That wasn't even a real sentence! You know, I wish they would put every script of every movie on every DVD. Because in cases like these, all I had to do was print it out and read it to you. After a short scene in a cafe with people that say how much they hate Daniel Kübelberg, which isn't even close to being authentic or how normal human beings talk in real life, like most of the acting in this piece of filth, we get another music video. I have a question for you. Can you help me find out what kind of genre this movie belongs to? Because Wikipedia says it's a half documentary. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Anyway, we have a quick pointless scene with a little girl that writes a letter to Daniel telling him how much he adores him. Then we return to Balthazar and his psycho buddies who have come up with a plan. In a few days he will give his final concert on his tour. There they will kill him in front of the entire world. At least the part of it that cares. Meanwhile, Daniel's father tells him that a studio in Hollywood has contacted him saying they want to make a screen test. Okay, when it comes to suspension of disbelief, we are all prepared to believe a lot of things. I'm willing to believe that there's a portal in my wardrobe to another world where Santa Claus and Jesus Lion lives. I'm willing to believe that in a couple of 100 years, people are going to fight aliens with vaginas on their foreheads. I am even willing to believe that the scientist goes back in time with his best friend where his own mother attempts to fuck him. But if you are telling me freaking Hollywood producers are going to call an average gender-neutral musician in Germany to make a movie with him completely out of nowhere, then you are a cocaine mixed with meth mixed with Adam addict.
Auch Las Vegas hat sich für dich interessiert.
Fuck it, there's no point in talking to you. So our hero goes to a screen test, where he meets a girl named Marie who thanks him for saving her father's life. She explains that her dad was swimming in a lake and almost drowned, but then Daniel Kübelberg appeared as an angel. Oh my god! Fine! I give in! He is the Messiah! None shall be king besides him! Fall on your knees before the single most perfect being in the universe, Daniel Kübelberg! Daniel's audition goes horribly wrong, but then he sings a few lines and they decide to give him a job in Las Vegas. Later, Daniel buys some cakes from the cafe where the people talk so bad about him, and gives the girl and her grandfather 2 free tickets for his concert. And then this scene. What the fuck are we doing here? After witnessing how people's minds tragically crack like eggs, we go back to Daniel's home where he dreams of the hilarious time he got tortured in the jungle like a Vietnam soldier. The big concert is about to begin and we meet the grandfather and his granddaughter again.
Ist das Popmusik oder ist das Rockmusik? Was ist denn das eigentlich?
Der Kübelberg.
One single genre of music cannot define him. For he is the voice of God. Kübelberg be praised. Then we see Daniel and the ghost, who actually is his grandfather, in what I think is supposed to be an emotional scene that doesn't work at all because we only saw them for about 10 seconds together in something that only was loosely based in reality.
Du bist jetzt 18, Daniel. Es wird Zeit, dass aus dem kleinen Zauberlehrling ein echter Zauberer wird.
That was probably the most painfully way to justify the title. And it doesn't even make sense. The concert begins and we see all the happy faces of his fans, daughters and their mothers, sons and their fathers, grandparents, all have come to listen to Daniel Kübelberg. We are such a fucking nation of suburban white middle class conformists. One of the bad guys pulls out a gun to shoot Daniel, but he can't. His music is just too good. Our glorious empire is growing. Soon the oceans will be filled with the blood of the infidels! During a pause, Daniel is kidnapped and brought to the house of Balthazar. They decide to execute him and film it. But for some unknown reason, Daniel is starting to use actual real magic, making the camera and gun not work and using mind tricks so that they let him go. Now a lot of you might ask, how, when and why did he get those powers? And if you do, that means you insult our prophet and you have to be killed. The concert continues as planned. Later, Daniel's ghost granddad wants that he gives his guitar to the people that wanted to kill him. Can a ghost get Alzheimer's? Daniel rightfully points out that, these were people who tried to kill him.
Ich bitte dich. Ein Zauberer gibt oft das her, was am meisten liebt.
Good thing you mentioned this plot detail that never was brought up until now. He then goes to see his former capturers and we get yet another music video. Balthazar and Johnny meet somewhere, and Balthazar tells him now that Daniel is a true magician, he has to give him his magic wand, which will mean he will lose all his powers. What magic wand? What are you talking about? Start to make sense, movie! At Christmas Eve, Daniel's grandma tells him about his grandfather, who we are now explicitly shown was the ghost, which is something everybody, even a baby, could have figured out with minimum effort, but the movie plays it as some big huge reveal. And so the movie ends with, you guessed it, a final big concert. And what a ride it has been, my friends. No. Just no. This is without a doubt one of the worst movies that have ever been put on DVD. It's nonsensical, badly acted, badly written, badly cut. It's so painful to watch. It's pure insanity. If the movie really had been just a documentary with interviews and music videos, it would have been fine. But whatever this is, whoever came up with it, stay far away from me. And so, my friends, I say goodbye to you all. I have to go to therapy. The German guy out and auf Wiedersehen.